Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Axel jam si Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do de. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bisul mu fine.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Bisul mu fine? Wave. Your money is yours.
This morning, my guest is the Minister of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment, the Honorable Babucarr Joof. He's here to talk about the labor agreement with Spain mainly, but I guess he's also happy to take a few questions about other matters touching on his ministry. So if you'd like to question him, please send me a message to 7711599. That's 7711599. Let's dive headlong into it, because he also has a cabinet meeting to prepare for. Good morning. I call him Babucarr.
Good morning, Peter. Thank you. Good morning to your listeners at home and abroad. Thank you very much for having me.
We also have viewers now.
Oh, yes. I should acknowledge that. I do watch the YouTube podcast
yes.
once in a while when I'm late, particularly or out of the country.
I'm going to do the Njayans and the Njobins a favor by starting out talking about bread, because you did a wonderful job. The last time I had an official from the Ministry of Trade, Motai, I mean, they spoke about the inevitability of a bread increase, a hike in the price of bread. But apparently, I mean, if you've not stopped it, you've delayed it at least. It's not going to happen anytime soon.
Yes, thank you. We are still working with the Bakers Association, and I must thank the executive of this association for being very open and cooperative. We've been having a lot of discussions. What led to the decision to withhold the increase is that we mounted a joint investigation. We went with them across the country and did a very good review of the costing structure of bread, both the Tapalapa and the Senfur. And when we came with the data, we modeled the data together with the Competition Commission and my staff at the Ministry of Trade, the GRA, and all the stakeholders that work with us. And we realized that we could hold it at this point for now, whilst we work on the issue of the regulation to determine the weight of the bread. We want to ensure that there is a connection between the size of the bread, that's the quality now, quality aspect, and the price that we attach to it. So unless we are able to get that synchronized, we agreed, both parties agreed, including the executive, that we can maintain it as it is now and sort of hold on to the limited profit that they are having at the moment until we resolve that. But we are still at talk.
Could you see us eventually moving to a situation where bread is costed on weight rather than maybe just occasionally coming out and saying, well, we are selling at $10, $15?
Yeah, but if that happens, I'm looking forward to that happening. It will be, quality for the consumer. Because when you charge me $15 for a loaf of bread, I should be getting the value of $15 in that bread you are giving to me.
In terms of what weight?
Weight is important, absolutely important. That quality, measuring the quality of bread factors about 50% of the quality analysis will be on the weight, what the bread itself contains. But the nutrients are also important, and that's why we charge the Standards Bureau to come up with a standard on bread, which is synchronized with the provisions in the bread regulation, which we are looking at the moment as well, so that in the end you have a system that is regulated based on rules and regulations, and not anyone just going to the bakery and determining that part of the dough, using your hand or using a scale, this is what the bread is going to contain in terms of flour. So it's going to be organized.
Okay, and what's the situation with the standard?
They've developed the standard. We have the standard now. Standards Bureau does the standards, but they are not regulators. So we will now need a regulating arm, that is the PURA, to be able to regulate this.
Pura is regulating bread as well.
No, I'm saying like Pura.
Oh, like Pura. Okay.
So
right.
in the regulation, it will be specified. This could be food and safety.
Yes.
Yeah, coming in to do the regulation. I just mentioned Pura, but that's the way it goes. But Standards Bureau, which is in our ministry, develops the standard, and they have done that both in terms of nutrients and the weight.
You wanted 350. You ended up with more than 10,000. It just shows the weight on your shoulders when it comes to employment. We're talking about the Spain, labor migration treaty now.
Yes, but Peter, this is a very important agreement. We have this circular migration with Spain, but we've maintained all along that this is the pilot phase. The final, performance of the country in terms of the numbers we send to Spain will depend on how we handle the pilot phase. If we are able to get this one right, and we have started very well, I can see a situation where all the 11,000 and others will even be allowed to go to Spain and work.
Okay. What is getting it right, like?
For example, the recruitment. In our agreement, we were required to have a joint panel to interview and select participants in the scheme.
Yes.
We have done this. The first phase has gone very successfully. The agreement was that we'll always give them 3 people for one position for interviews and selection. And we have been able to do that with the 39 that are required. Every farmer specifies the number of workers they want.
Okay.
So this one requested 39. We gave them a list of 117.
Okay.
And all of them came except one. And out of the 116, they were able to select their 39 and even had some collateral benefits, because within the 116 were 3, I think I need to get this right, 3 or 5 tractor drivers, expert tractor drivers from URR. And these guys did not even hesitate to say, you are not going to pluck fruits. You're going to drive our tractors. We're going to. So they have already identified skills amongst those people that they are going to definitely take. Also, there is a company that is looking for only ladies. And there were so many girls among these 116. This company has already identified some ladies that they are also going to take immediately after they are done. So we are hoping that will be from this interview of 116, instead of sending 39, it will be 39 plus the ladies that this company is looking for.
And I hope the guy or lady who no-showed didn't, take the back way. Having lost patience.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I have not been able to establish why he didn't turn up. But all these people were there in the morning. I got to the office at 8. They were all there.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's for Spain.
Yes.
What about the UAE and Saudi Arabia? And Saudi Arabia, we're already starting to get some negative noises.
I'm excited to talk about the Saudi one, but let me quickly say the UAE one, we are still waiting for the UAE to trigger the recruitment. We are ready on the ground. The agencies are ready. They already have some people in their database waiting for the UAE to request. So our embassy is working with them, diplomatic channels, and sometimes these countries work differently.
Yes.
Yeah, but Saudi is okay, and Qatar as well. Remember, this was an agreement signed in the Second Republic. That agreement is still active. The MOU does not expire. It doesn't have any expiry dates. So we are hoping that we'll be able to just get to that file and bring it back to action. But Saudi, we deployed 61. 60 and 6 have returned so far. 1 is at the center. But I want to take each one of these in context for Gambians to understand what is happening.
Please do.
The most interesting thing, Peter, is that unlike the noise we were hearing before the scheme started, all those who are coming are decided themselves that they want to come home. No one. Voluntary repatriation. Okay. None of them has been forced to come back. The first one that came was just a week after she arrived. We all know in this country, these are things that we believe in. There's this spiritual fight she had with demons while she was in the country here. She went to Saudi. These demons were restricted while she was here. When she got to Saudi, they resurfaced.
The demons followed her to Saudi Arabia. Yes. Demons know the way to places.
Yes. According to her. This is the story. And she was not comfortable being alone because she feels remaining isolated, this thing can degenerate and she can get back to situations of collapsing in the streets and all that. So her own people bought her a ticket and she returned.
Oh, wow.
Now we got her a replacement. The agency in the Gambia recruited another girl to go back and fill the gap that she left. Upon arrival, this one also had some challenges. She was taken to Umrah, first thing. The landlady was going to Umrah. They went together. They went to...
This is the host now?
Yes, the host.
Okay.
From Riyadh, where they are based. They went to Makkah for Umrah. Whilst they were in Makkah, the landlady suggested that she should clean the room that they were occupying. And the girl said no, she was recruited to work in Riyadh and cannot work in Makkah.
Oh.
Yes, so the matter was reported to the agency here, back and forth. They agreed that the girl was right. She was recruited to work in Riyadh, not to work in Saudi. Notwithstanding, the lady bought her a mobile phone, SIM card. It was moving beautifully. But when they got back, the lady returned her to the center because they had disagreed. When they got to the center, she was sick. They tested her. She was pregnant. She had to come home. Number two.
So she had traveled to Saudi Arabia with the pregnancy.
Yes, and the test did not reveal that. She went through medical examinations.
Here in the Gambia?
Yes, in the Gambia.
Oh, wow.
We test them. We know they go through all these things. We did some counseling. All these discussions were made. You know, we suggested to them that these things cannot happen. You cannot deliver in Saudi and expect that child to be a Saudi. But the royal family is just the royal family. You cannot be a Saudi citizen just because you are born there. Their rules are very clear. So she was flown back. There is this other one, had similar challenges with the employer. The lady was going on weekends to see her mom, and they would go together. So when they get to the mom's place, the landlady, the host, would expect that the girl would continue working as she was working in the previous, in their home in Riyadh.
Yes.
So the girl protested because we gave them, this is the benefit of the pre-departure training, to say you have your rights, these are things. And because we are talking with them, they were able to communicate to the agency back to say, look, when I go on weekend with her, she wants me to work there. And I know I'm supposed to work in her house and serve her and her children. It was resolved through the embassy in Saudi that she was not supposed to work when they went on weekend. The landlady wasn't happy, took her back to the center, and the lady felt that now, after some time, she was not taken by another one. 3 deployments did not change anything. She wasn't happy, and she chose that she was coming home. All these things are within the first 90 days, which the contract says, if you terminate voluntarily, you're going to be responsible for your ticket. If we terminate, we will provide you the ticket. Okay. If the agency recalls you, the agency will provide you the ticket. Okay. So these are the stories we have. I think all 7 of them. 6 of them are in now. The one we are having in the center now. And when I got, this information that she's desperate and looking for help to come back, she's being processed. I think yesterday she attended an exit interview to return. In Saudi, you cannot hide. The current ones, those that have met the 90 days now, their permits and everything, we have videos and messages from them. They are constantly talking to us. The 55 or so that are stable are enjoying their stay. But these ones are the ones who chose to return. And at some point, I was even scared that we were going to lose this because the reputation of the country goes round. Gambians do not want to stay. One of them returned because she's just missing her mother.
Oh.
I'm going home because I cannot stay here. I want to see my mother. I'm missing my mother. These kind of things make it difficult for Gambia to earn a reputation that will bring in a lot of these girls out.
Will you now consider counseling, for, future interviews?
We did that. We have Aissatou Dabo, fantastic, the CEO of Natib is in our team, and she comes to this center. In fact, we were targeting Antoinette Kaur. She's a career, counselor, guidance and counselor. But when we were having the pre-departure orientation, she was out of the country on other duties. But that's really something, Uncle Peter.
We sympathize with her since she's
just lost our mom.
Her mother.
So really, the Saudi one is working.
So when you say in Saudi you can't hide, is that because of the kafala system?
Yeah, wherever you are, the system will know where you are. Eventually, they will get hold of you, and if you have broken their rules, they are very, very vigilant. So the agencies on the ground there, you have agencies in the Gambia doing the recruitment on behalf of agencies in Saudi. So those ones work with the embassy of the Gambia in Saudi. It's very, very, very organized.
Very good.
Yeah, that you have somebody next to you that you can talk to, and no girl has reported that her mobile phone has been taken from her. The complaints we have from some of them, these ones that are returning, is that at some point I was not connected to the Wi-Fi. Because they had issues with their landladies, they knocked them off the Wi-Fi. Those are the kind of things. But nobody's mobile phone has been taken. So they are constantly sending feedback to their agencies back here, and the agencies are updating us on a WhatsApp group that I am personally added onto. I listen to all these audios. I have the girls dancing and enjoying themselves in there. There are two of them that are serving one particular lady. Every day they are sending audios, dancing and singing and sending messages to their families. So Saudi is working so far. In fact, one of them has started requesting for skilled workers, which is interesting.
Skilled workers in what area?
In driving and in cleansing. If you go to the Kaaba, you notice that all the cleaners are probably from Indonesia. It's just one set of people, Bangladesh. You go to the other mosque or train stations, you find Malaysians. So this kind of thing is the next level. They want to come in and say, we want a cleaning company to come in with 100 cleaners because we have this number of schools to clean on a daily basis. I think
you just gave me a business idea there.
That's exactly. Absolutely.
Excellent jam, Suway.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do dede. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bisul mu fay.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave, Bisul mu fine. Wave, your money is yours.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Let's talk about, is it
Murabaha.
Murabaha.
Yes, Murabaha.
Because there was a time when you were all over the, newspapers and everywhere. This 20 million. I mean, Gambians and figures.
Yes. Peter, what is going on? Government is working through the Ministry of Finance to capitalize our local importers. We know logistics globally is becoming a challenge, and because Gambia is a net importer, we still have not fixed the production part to a level that we will not import our food. That requires that we are prepared as a country to be able to bring in the food items when we require them. And that's why this tranche is sitting at Ajib, which Ajib is going to administer. The government, unlike the Badia one, which was to be determined by the Ministry of Trade and Finance together, This one is given to the private sector directly through the Ajib Bank. It's coming from the Islamic bank. As a result, it must be distributed using Islamic financial instruments. And that's why it is sitting at Ajib. They will do the due diligence and everything around that on the customers, and they will distribute the money to support commodity imports to ensure, number one, availability, timely, importation, but also to help them with the capital requirements because it's capital intensive.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was you mentioned the Badea loan.
Yes.
There was a time when it caused a lot of noise.
Yes.
But we are beginning to see that people are appreciating the result of at least one of the, the work of one of the beneficiaries.
Yes.
Esambai Fall, presidential aspirant, sat where you sat now and praised the rice project of Hamidou Jah, which I suppose was funded through this Badeya thing.
Yes.
Likewise, Alhaji Mustafa Njai Taf.
Yes. You see, Hamidou Jah is one of the Gambians we all have to be proud of, like the Tafs and all these entrepreneurs that have come up with business ideas and have invested all they had in this. And this is what you do. You go to Nigeria. Dangote was made by the government of Nigeria. He was not exported to Nigeria to become Dangote. He was a Nigerian, and a government gave him some privileges. And these are the things you do. You identify your champions in various sectors and enable them, empower them to be able to come in and serve the rest of the public. That's what you do. You don't get this kind of support and spread it amongst everybody. You end up having all of them remaining poor. But you support champions, they end up being your major employers, they become your importers and eventually your exporters. Hamidou is working on that rice project. We look forward to that having an impact on our imports, reducing it significantly as we go. He's not the only one in that play, in that space. But all is just to support the idea that Gambians, we need to support Gambians. This is very important. Identify those that have found a business idea, are ready, they are passionate, they have the idea, they have the technical, the expertise and all this. Provide them support, whether through capitalization or providing them other forms of support as a government through tax breaks and all these things. They eventually become big and bigger and support the government by handling one aspect of the economy. Yeah.
I haven't got to the newspapers yet, so this is why maybe you didn't hear this particular headline I'm going to ask you about. The Gambia Daily, the official paper of the Gambia government, has you calling for innovative halal standardization to meet modern quality assurance. What's that all about?
Yes, last week we were celebrating Global Halal Day, and this is one sector of our consumption which is gaining prominence, particularly in the Islamic world. That is halal provision of commodities, not only food. It goes to textiles, it goes to, apparels, it goes to, even hospitality, halal hospitality, halal tourism. All these things is now gaining prominence. So when the day comes, because the Standards Bureau is responsible for providing halal standards, they work with the OIC to ensure that we have standards that are compatible with Sharia requirements and provisions, and that's what we were celebrating. So what we are saying to Gambians is this is another business opening. For those of us who are still thinking of businesses, look for those areas in the halal industry that you can explore, because they are still very nascent, very, very, very nascent. So pick one area, develop it, have your preserve, and have a blue ocean, rather than go to the muddy waters and fight with other people on businesses, which is very Gambian. We always want to do what other people have done successfully, rather than think of something that is slightly different from what others have done, and then you have your own preserve in a blue ocean.
So about 100, employment opportunities created between Spain and Saudi Arabia. So how far to go to achieving the 150,000, or how do you measure, the number of jobs created. This is taking you down the path
of employment.
Of employment.
Yes,
and your information colleague gets battered with questions week in, week out.
Yes, absolutely. When I got to the ministry, I realized that we did not have a system that captured employment data real time. And I started working with the employment director on getting this done. We have gone very far with Gisco and Insys Global. These are the two companies we engage to voluntarily come up and work with us to develop something. If you look at the system, anytime you have the digital economy minister here, will explain to you, or maybe Minister of Public Service.
We're trying desperately to get hold of Mr. Jabi.
Jabi, he will be very happy to come here. I know he's a very, very eloquent attorney. You will be happy if you have him here.
And he went to the right school, the right high school.
Absolutely. He will come here. So the systems we have, the ICT systems we have in government are not 99% talking to each other. As a result, we are finding it a bit challenging to synchronize and harmonize this data in order to pick employment on a real-time basis as it happens, or as we lose workers through retirement and other systems. It will take time that we will work on this. Meanwhile, the LMIS, which is in my ministry, which is the Labor Migration Information System, is a system that captures labor movement. It's not specifically designed to capture real-time employment data. So that is why we are looking at that particular system, the one that is being developed by Gisco and the one that is being developed by Insys Global, to see if we can now have a convergence that will deal with this issue and once and for all give us employment data real time. For the past 60 years, we've been relying on surveys. Surveys are not real-time data. They do a particular sampling, they come up with numbers that you will rely on based on the reliability of the method used, the methodology used, and so on. But that's what we can use at the moment. For the 150, Peter, 150,000 workers or employment positions within the 5 years, it depends on who you are talking to. The positivists, those of us who believe that there is a lot of employment happening in the country, and we are seeing hundreds of non-Gambians coming from outside the country and getting employed, it's difficult for us to believe that we have not met this. But we don't have any system, and I'm very, very clear on this.
Empirical proof is
we
absolute.
don't have that. Okay. And that's the challenge.
Let me take a few questions for you.
Yeah.
Hi, Uncle Peter. Can you ask the minister why there is shortage of cement? In the end, some people are now selling cement at $500 C. Does the minister know this? I went to a shop to buy cement, and one bag cost me $500 C.
That's news to me. I wish I know how that happened. I know there is we're having challenges with cement. This is, again, you can refer this back to the events in the US. We were getting cement from countries in Africa. Recently, we've been struggling to sort that out. Government is working with our Ministry of Foreign Affairs to facilitate a visit to Egypt. That will be very crucial. We still have other options to bring cement over, but it's a challenge. Remember, Gambia does not have raw materials for cement. And we'll need the raw materials or the processed or semi-processed material to come in for packaging to happen. So we are struggling. We understand that. But a cement bag shouldn't get to 500 now.
Apparently it has.
Yeah, because the increase that was even proposed has been withheld. We are not... we are talking, just like we did with the bread. We have a serious conversation with these people to ensure that we are able to deal with this. So it's all about logistics. It's about value chain management. We are working on those. 500 is outrageous. Even 450 is outrageous for now. They should allow us to finish the work we are doing before we can allow any increase. I know that will be a disincentive because they were selling at a loss. All of them are selling at a loss at the moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we know that. But, you know what I mean, we believe
Why?
that...
Is that because the dollar keeps falling, the dollar keeps strengthening, as do all other
those are part of the
currencies?
ingredients. The other ingredients will be access to the logistics. I just said that these materials are not in our grounds. We are bringing them. And once you have logistic challenges in terms of transporting the material, because that changes with the issues around. If you have a war, if you have a shortage, if you have tariffs being slapped on a country that is exporting. So all these things have some implications for the material coming in, for the packaging to take place.
Absolutely.
But we are working on that particular value chain issue, and I hope if we are able to resolve that, we should be able to have the price stable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good morning, Mr. Gomez. Ask the minister about GAM Petroleum. We made profit, but the staff are not benefiting. No benefits, absolutely.
GAM Petroleum is not under my remit. Unfortunately, I should not be able to comment on that.
Okay. Somebody disagreeing with you. Good morning, Uncle Peter. Tell this minister, a serious country does not send its youthful population to other countries to serve their labor market, but instead create job opportunities that would make them stay and develop their own nation. It begs the question: do we think Philippines, is a serious country? You just talked about Malaysia and all these people, and all these people are found in Saudi Arabia.
Uncle Peter, there are 3 million Indians in Saudi Arabia alone. You have another 3 million in United Arab Emirates. You don't tell me India is not a serious country. You don't tell me Malaysia is not a serious country. All the workers, the skilled workers in Saudi Arabia currently running the economy of one of the top 20 countries in the world are from Malaysia. You don't tell me Malaysia is not a serious country. That is not the point. Gambia government is not sending workers away. What we are doing is facilitating their movement. Labor migration has been here since time immemorial. We found labor migration here. Our prophets moved. They moved from one region to another. Even if you did not have countries at the time, they were moving from one region to the other. This was here forever. Labor must move. And that's why you are having global labor conferences where we talk about, currently, you go to Saudi Arabia, you find British and Americans in Saudi working. It's not about sending them. It's about enabling them to move in an organized way, giving them legal pathways so that when they face challenges, they can fall back on those agreements the government is making and ensure that their dignity is preserved. Just like we have said about the girls. This is not about not being serious. Talking about jobs at home, you see, it's a process. The ministry knows our responsibility to ensure that we create employment opportunities. Government is not going to be in a position, no government in the world employs all her citizens, but you create opportunities for this to happen. These ones we are supporting. Whether we are doing this or not, one of those girls in Saudi is telling us she wants to come back because she wants to go to Qatar. Clandestinely. We are not currently sending workers to Qatar through the formal channel, but there are people who are taking orders to Qatar and Bahrain and other places. So
what happens when these people have problems in Qatar now? I mean, you're not in any formal agreement with Qatar as you are in, with Saudi Arabia.
It means we cannot step in and say, you cannot make this girl work here and work on weekends. We cannot say you cannot get the girl to work in Riyadh and work in your house during Umrah. Now we can say that because we have an agreement with the Saudi authorities. And that agreement gives the government of the Gambia authority to summon a meeting through the High Commission in Riyadh for us to sit down and talk about the circumstances around our girls.
Good morning, Peter. I can't believe what I'm hearing. Sweeping and washing dirty places overseas and packing farm produce, these are now considered skilled jobs. Your interviewee is promoting modern slavery of unskilled Gambian youth abroad. What a tragedy. Do you agree?
No, I don't think he or she even listened to what I said. I said they have started asking for skilled labor and cleaning jobs. Cleaning, professional cleaning is a skill. If he disagrees, he can disagree. But driving, you cannot tell me it's not a skill. That is a skill. Tractor driving is a skill. Maybe he or she wasn't listening. So it's the context. I believe he goes back to the real and listen to what I said.
Okay. Ask the minister, who has just admitted there are challenges in meeting demand for cement, what he makes of the everyday claim by Jar Oil and other so-called factories that they always have enough for the local market. Does this not vindicate the cement importers from across the border? They've been put out of business through high tariffs to protect others?
I may not want to comment on the latter because it is a court matter. Okay. It is in the High Court. The issue of ensuring that we have enough cement in the country is a responsibility we will not shy away from. This government took this decision based on very professional advice, and we are hopeful that it will continue to be the best for this country. The GRA has found this very, 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 very useful. The Gambia Ports Authority has benefited from the decision, and a lot of us have benefited from the decision, including the majority of those who are ferrying cement from across the border, who are currently the ones distributing the cement that is being packaged from within the country. So I think that will be enough for that. Yeah.
Very interesting one, because it revises, information we had earlier. Good morning, Uncle Peter. Can the Honorable Minister talk about the hike in cement prices? A bag is now close to 440. So it's not even the 500 that we had earlier. 440 retail price. I understand the foreign currency aspect, but why is it only affecting cement and not petroleum and food items? If we say, the pressure being put on the Dalasi is what is responsible for the hike in cement prices, why isn't it reflecting on food items? Why is it not reflecting on petroleum products, which have been steady for the past 6 months at least?
The petroleum products have a costing structure that is usually reviewed by the Ministry of Finance.
True.
And that's why I talked about the discussions we are having with the cement producers and, and around the cost structure, just like we did with the bread. We are looking at the inputs, what goes into the production of the cement, and we are looking at what they are associating with it in terms of charges in order to determine whether the increase is justifiable. And then we will agree with them if it is justifiable, because the last thing you want is for these companies to continuously produce at a loss, which eventually will take them out of business. We will not want that.
No.
But we've not gotten to that level yet. We want to complete the investigations, and then we will see if this is necessary. Well, meanwhile, what we are doing at the backstage is to engage, to ensure that we can do something with the value chain wherever we can make savings to mitigate the potential risk of having a price hike.
My audience loves government officials appearing on the program. It's never quiet when we have any. No, I'll make this the last one. I can see you're looking at your watch. I understand you have cabinet to plan for. Morning, Uncle Peter. Absolute last one. Please ask the minister the reason why the government cannot invest in our agriculture and employ these young people in our own country to feed ourselves.
I am presenting a paper in cabinet very soon from the Ministry of Employment and Ministry of Labor. That is my ministry. We are working on a project. We've currently shared the instrument, which is one of the procedures to get feedback from our sister ministries and ministers. But yes, government has worked on this. We've done a job on this, and we'll share with the public when the time comes. I'll come back to this chair.
Does that include the money given to the army to farm?
No. That's a separate thing. This going to the army is coming through the Ministry of Defense and Agriculture, but this is from the Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Agriculture, and it will impact on fisheries, it will impact on agroforestry.
Honorable Minister, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
You wanted to be here only until 8:30. It's almost what?
It's almost
a quarter to the hour. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Peter.
All right, that was Honorable Babucarr Usmaila Joof, Minister of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment, and live on West Coast Radio. You're with Coffee Time with Peter Gomez.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Axel jam si way.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do dede. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello? Ano lay waxal?
Bisul mu fay.
What?
bësal mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave ak Senegambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. Ak Wave, bësal mu fine. Wave, your money is yours.